Tit-O.
Okay, so
Tito.
Tito. And welcome back to Otakuspect, where we have two new members today, Tito and Vince, for Vintage Muffins.
Oh my fucking god.
We are going to be doing a rant.
Tito.
Tito.
I said that's
Start
how you
again.
pronounce it.
No,
he's not
this
starting
is
it.
staying.
We are still going, you bitch!
We're doing
Fine,
this. We're
fine.
making this happen.
Fine.
Okay, so Tito and Vintage Muffins are joining us today for Otakuspect, and we are going to be doing a rant over Five Nights at Freddy's. Obviously, we're all revved up for this, so let's jump right in. Who wants to start it out?
Yo, I'm gonna start with saying, I really gotta piss.
I don't even know where
That
to
just
begin
happened.
with you, Zork.
Okay. Tito, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Maybe, like, if you'd like to change your name.
I think Tito's fine for now until further notice.
Okay.
Further
Tell us a little
notice
bit
will
about
never be
yourself.
given. He is now labeled Tito for life. And if I call him Tito, then it's going to be hilarious.
If you call me Tito, it'll be the
If you
last
ever
thing
take off
ever.
your shirt, I'm going to start calling you Tito.
Okay.
Don't you dare, boy. Oh my gosh.
Podcast.
Well, this podcast is off to a great start, so yeah. You know what? We're
Okay.
keeping this. We're making this happen.
Fine. Tito, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do? If you're getting close.
Fuck bitches, good morning.
He's a fourth dimensional being.
Fourth dimensional being now
Fourth.
fifth. That's just fourth shit, you scrub.
We've just gone so far past Bill Cipher, it's not
No,
even
Tito-
funny.
Two-dimensional.
Tito is a music producer in training. That's about all I got for now.
Okay, then.
What
Okay.
food do you like?
What food do I like?
Yeah, what'd you have
Yes.
for breakfast?
Fries. Who doesn't like fries? Tell me that.
The French.
Also, I think like
Glares, obviously.
Anything else you'd like to add?
also Maddox. Hates fries.
Done. I'm done.
Passion.
Guys. Done with you guys. I'm gonna ollie outie here in a second.
Alright, bitches, I'm about to fucking
God
school
damn.
you on some shit. Alright, so this
You
motherfucker.
just threw
He literally, Scott Cawthorn was just like, yo, we know that this thing is over, and I said it was over and done with, but if it can print money, freaking print more! And now he's driving it down to the ground, and he's just like, it's making money! And now they're making a movie out of it. That's my synopsis.
Wait, they're seriously making a movie out of it?
Yes, sir.
But we've got to have money.
Oh, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
Okay, Five Nights at
Yeah,
Freddy's
okay,
4
I get
coming
that
out.
now.
No,
Like
that's
your rant.
Yes.
That makes sense now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Slow.
Yeah, and he's calling it the final chapter. I guarantee there's going to be there's a before chapter too, where they were at the
The final chapter comes before the before chapter.
That pre-sequel shit.
Yeah,
aggravates me
it kind of
sometimes.
sucks, really.
Dude,
No, wait,
I
no,
hate
okay.
Scott
It was-
Cawthorn.
Okay, it was the first game, and then there was the prequel to it, and then there was the sequel to the first game, and
This
now
shit
we got
has
final
no idea
chapter
what
coming
it's
out.
doing. It's more confused than Metal Gear Solid.
It's like they purposely watched Matt Pat from Game Theory, saw his idea of what it would all look like and how there would be 4 restaurants, and then tried to prove him wrong, and then are now trying to prove him right, but proving him wrong at the same time. It's so confusing, it's not even funny. And then all these theories and all that. They had a good storyline. They should have left it because now it's done, okay? Third one completely solved the entire storyline. They did not tie up a ton of loose ends, but now they're making the fourth one, and the fourth one is supposedly to tie up the loose ends, but the storyline is already done! Look me
You
in the
could've
eyes
said-
and tell me I will not kill a bitch.
You could have said that with more enthusiasm. But
They
yes, I
cannot
agree.
tell we are looking each other in the eyes. I'm done with your shit.
Ooh, baby, baby.
Don't you dare. As if the shipping wasn't bad enough.
Oh my god. We just decided so much fangirls. This is bad. For the record, I've got a girlfriend. Yeah! Ivy! I can tell you right now, if my girlfriend ever comes onto the show, she's going to take the name Ivy. It's going to be great.
You just killed like a quarter of the ships right there.
Woo! Killing ships! You know, thinks a ship when another ship has a cannon. Come at me.
Okay, hold
I'm
on.
fixing to
Nope.
come at you.
Nope,
I will.
nope, nope,
I
nope.
will. Yeah,
I
Tito's
retract
gonna
it.
come
Pray for
Okay.
Tito.
Anyways, yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's, it's BS right now, the whole prequel.
Legit,
sequel
the
thing.
first one was at least had a decent...
The first one was
I was willing to fight for
innovational.
it. I was willing to
Yes.
fight for it because yes, it was an indie game. Yes, it was weird. But honestly, I thought they were actually knowing what they were doing and were like, yo, this is all the way around creepy. Visually and hearing, it's amazing. Second one, okay, you're kind of running it a little thin, but you know what?
Well,
It's
they
still
did.
kinda
They
good.
did kind of innovate it. I mean, they took away the doors. They gave you the vent system and all that stuff.
Yeah, I
They
know,
honestly-
but it was a proper way to do a sequel.
Yeah,
Then once they
plus
came out with the
puppet-
third one, it
puppets.
was like,
Third one,
okay,
no, they
now
killed
let's
it.
let's just fucking end it here. This
They
one's
basically
bad.
took the first two and said, "Hey, let's modernize this and make it even worse than it is."
The only decent thing that came out of it was, I think, Matt Pat's like reviews of it.
Yeah,
Just what he got from it.
pretty much the entire
That's like
series.
the only
is-
decent thing.
The entire series right now is writing on creepy gaming and game theory. The entire series. That's really why it's so popular is because of these two shows
Because the
doing
third
videos.
one's absolutely, it's shit as a game. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys ever listened to Vegeta and Krillin playing Five Nights at Freddy's? That shit's hilarious.
What?
Okay, they have these
Team
things.
4-star.
No. I don't even. Okay, I still need to watch the Team 4-Star Dragon Ball Z parody. Abridged.
I will say, though, as far as the plot, he has kind of written himself into a corner. But when you get
Literally,
right
he
down-
can only either end it or start from the beginning.
Well, okay.
Because
Considering
there's
the fact
still
that he-
technically no beginning.
I think
Yeah.
his concern is that he still has a lot of good ideas as to how the gameplay can work. Because when you go from one to the other, there is the spirit of the game is still there, as in not getting the animatronics to
Have
get
you
to
seen
But
his previous games?
I have
Chuck E.
not.
Cheese.
Yeah, the
they were
Christian ones?
freaking Christian games.
Oh, yeah,
not that
I
that's a
did
bad
hear
thing.
about that. I did hear
That's
about
not
that.
a
It is a
bad
bad
thing.
thing.
Or anything.
Yeah, it's completely
really.
a bad thing. Fuck
Not
Christian
really.
games. No, I'm sorry, but any games that kind of base themselves around God is kind of like usually like
Okay,
you understand where it's coming from.
Yes, but at the same time, for like the younger generations, the kids who are like just little kids or whatever, sure, that's a little fun pastime. They can download it on their parents' iPad or their phone or whatever, their parents' phones, and they can play it and they'll be happy and it'll give the parents a break for a little while. And that's completely fine, okay? But when you're making it for like serious gamers or whatever, then that's not fine. There's a very fine line between Christian games being good or being bad, unless you make like a Christian game somewhat like a mature game, like think Resident Evil, but you're on God's side or something like that. Like
Well,
if you
they're
actually make a good
Like
game
Devil May Cry or
that
something.
is based around that, then
I mean, some
maybe,
people did it right, but
okay?
some people made some good Christian stuff, and then like
Well,
eventually
something
we
nice.
later
Probably take that away.
realized it was shit.
Thank
I
you.
mean,
Well,
look at Insane Clown Posse. Did you know that they were a Christian band?
I
I'm-
still like them.
I'm not kidding about that. Well, they're still shit, and they are really fucking
No,
bad.
good. Clown Posse is good, and I will fight you on that one. I will fight you, bro.
Well, when you're looking as far as faith being based on a faith and making video games, the fact that they have that faith, it kind of shoots them in the foot because they're restricted to a whole lot more things than otherwise if they didn't have that faith.
As
They
a
wouldn't
game
be restricted
developer,
to those things.
I can't
Pray
imagine
for
that.
Tito.
It's like asking an Amish guy to make a computer. It's going to take it's going to be a very long time, and he's probably not going to do it very well, but he's going to try.
Well, at the very here's the thing where it comes from. Okay, he originally made these games, and these games weren't even that good. Like they weren't exactly what's the word I'm looking for? They weren't very published. They weren't very actively made or anything. They just were not that good. However, then he makes Five Nights at Freddy's, and honestly, it's a miracle in its own right that he decided, you know what, I'm going to make a new game, and this game was actually good. However, he really should have stopped there, or at least stopped at the second one, because he's made the game. Now, all he has to rely on, besides this new gameplay, which he came up with, because this gameplay is not going anywhere, it's been done. This is like Angry Birds. Now they've got like so many games out that no one even buys any except for like the first two, okay? So, basically, if he's making more games, he's shooting himself in the foot there, just because on the basis that he doesn't have anything to fall back on. His Christian game-making time was basically a bust. I know he went on record and says he doesn't regret it, but at the same time, he busted bad on the Christian game market, and he managed to make two games that made him a lot of money. He
They
should have stopped
looked
because he doesn't have anything
so
to fall back
awful,
on.
too.
They
Yeah,
looked
they
demonic,
did.
and they weren't.
When
were
you get
bad.
to that point where your
Also,
game
they
series
just-
has that much recognition and you see it bringing in so much money, I can see how he can easily go, well, there's all this other stuff that I'd like to do, but I don't have the money to do it. If I just keep milking this cow, I'll have the cash to do the stuff that's actually good.
Yeah.
Like I
And
said
really
earlier,
need to, like,
if it can print money, make it print more!
And here's the thing, though, okay? Just talking about this, like, I'll relate it to this. Martin Garrix, okay, he had that one song that came out called Animals. And it was a song. I liked the song. I still like the song, okay? But at the same time, have you heard any of his songs on the radio other than Animals? Because I sure as hell have not.
To be fair, I haven't even heard that one.
Well, speaking of,
It was on the radio at the time.
there's never been ICP on the radio.
You know what? Shut up. I still like ICP. ICP is amazing.
He's down to
Okay,
clown.
let me just retort with this one thing.
Bro, you are not down with the
Well,
clown.
I am heading down a southern trail. I'm going chicken hunting, chopping redneck chicken necks. I ain't saying nothing to a hillbilly stuck my barrel in his eye. Boom shaka, hair jumps in the sky. Why I never liked chicken pot pie or chopped chicken on rye. So tell Mr. Billy Bob I'ma cut his neck up, slice, poke, chop, stab, cut. What can you do with a drunken hillbilly? Cut his fucking eyes out and feed him to his Aunt Millie. I'm sorry, do those sound like good lyrics to you?
No,
I gotta
it
say-
sounds
funny
like
as
the
hell.
perfect script for like a kindergarten play.
Exactly!
I gotta say, I do appreciate the delicate delivery with which that was done.
I used to know that song by heart. That's why.
Oh, okay.
I used to be a juggalo, and then I got out of it. Hint, hint!
God. I
He's trying to
I
save
still
you,
like
man.
it. Shut up. I still like it. I can enjoy what I like, okay? I like a vast variety of music.
Okay, I want to comment on something here. The other day, I was standing next to two hipsters waiting for a bus, and they're playing this.
That sounds like a
Start of a
joke.
What kind of life do you live in?
When you don't have a car, the shit happens, okay?
Oh man, it's raining out
So
there.
two hipsters are standing waiting in line for a bus, and I'm standing next to them going,
No, and they're playing Five
This
Nights
sounds
at
like a bad
Freddy's.
set.
No, they're not there anymore because they took the bus you didn't know about.
Alright, well,
This was weeks ago. Get your ass back here so we can finish this. Okay, so I was standing next to them, and they're playing Five Nights at Freddy's, and they're jumping and shit from how scared they are, as if
Are you kidding
could
me?
actually be scared.
these aren't
From Five Nights at
hipsters,
Freddy's.
these are weeb, like just weeaboos.
No, we are weeaboos.
No,
That's
I'm not a
different.
weeaboo.
You are a fucking.
I am not a weeb. I will go on record and say I'm not a weeb.
You're weird.
I love anime and manga, but I do not try to go into the whole I'm adopting Japan culture and I am going to be Japanese and all that. I'm not a weeb. I just like anime and manga. I like it a lot. I like to watch it. It's entertaining for me.
Me on the other
I
hand,
watch
partially
Supernatural
right.
just as much. In
I think
fact,
he's
I've been
partially
watching
right because
Supernatural.
he's just a huge fan.
Me,
of
on the
all
other
these
hand,
kinds of
I'm a
fandoms.
fan
I've had
of
people that are like
Exactly.
anime.
Exactly.
Thank you.
they're like that whole people that like they pronounce different shows, like those assholes that would do like fairy tale or whatever, like when they would pronounce fairy tale, or they'd try and make it like really
Yeah,
Japanese and retarded and shit.
See, he
It
supports
was
me.
so bad.
I'm
and
not a
I hate
weeb.
those.
I personally,
That's
my favorite fandom is Homestuck, and I've been watching Supernatural like practically 24/7, trying to finish the series right now. I'm on like season 5, and I get into the series, I get into the anime or the manga or whatever. It's just different types of series to me. I'm not one of those guys who goes, I am going to get tattoos all over my body of anime and manga or Japanese culture. I'm not going to go out and buy like a sword collection, and I'm not going to go out and buy like all this merchandise. Okay, I might buy a little bit of merchandise, but that's just because I love the shows. I still buy merchandise
Okay.
of other things, so it doesn't make me a weeb. It just makes me committed to my fandoms.
You just described 95% of my friends. Just then.
Yes, but you know what the difference is?
What?
You hang out with weebs.
Fuck you. Okay, as I was saying,
Wait, didn't he just compare himself to a weeb then?
No, I said I don't. I may buy some anime manga stuff, but that's only if I like
Yeah, but
really
then you
like
said
the
that-
anime.
He just described his friend.
Buddy,
okay,
And you said this
So-
the way that you just gave your description, it's like saying, I'm not a Labrador. I'm a pit bull. But you're still a dog.
Okay, the thing is,
no, there is no more
weeaboos
thing.
Weeaboos are basically characterized as being okay. They're the people who get into it and they buy like as much merchandise as they can, and they
So wait, what
try
are you
to.
talking about?
They
He was,
weeaboos.
he was the
They
Okay, so
tried. No, stop. They tried to become Japanese. They tried to adopt Japanese
entirely,
culture
but yeah,
into
kind of.
every single thing. I don't do that. All I do is say, okay, I
I'll
like the
admit that
series, so
otakus do
I
that.
might buy something about it. Like otakus can get into a
Haven't we
series
gone
or a
over this
fandom or
on an
whatever,
episode
but
already?
weeaboos are just they're trash because they get so far into it that they try to become the entire culture of it. Otakus, they'll appreciate the culture, but they don't try to become it. Otakus will love what they're watching, love these series and these fandoms, and they will just love the fandom itself, but they're not going to go into, oh, hey, this fandom is so great, and then like, oh my gosh, this personally personifies Japanese culture and all this Japanese culture crap and all that stuff. Because weebs, in all honesty, are just Japanese culture addicts. Otakus are people who love the fandoms themselves. And take your freaking cards back. Don't throw them at me.
No, hold on. I was trying to continue with my hipster thing.
Let me go on just to rebuttal this real quick.
Okay,
Before we
Wilson
continue,
started, he's like, so
One-
two hipsters, and then he just fucking exploded.
I've been sitting here waiting patiently, just listening to that and just going, are you fucking serious? Are you really fucking serious right now? Daniel, say it in your...
Can we bleep it out?
Tito, say it in your voice.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
And the only reason I buy anime stuff is if it's like a Hot Topic and I like it.
All right, nigga. Well, now here you're about to get schooled. All right, sit down, children. Lend me your ears. All right. So, fuck you.
I want to stab you.
So, basically, how I see weeaboos and otakus is there is no dividing line. There is just you're either a weeb or you're not a weeb. And to look at it, very plain and simple, if you keep up to date on any sort of anime, you're a weeaboo in some sort of case. Weeaboo and otaku, no matter what term you go by, otaku, hikigurumi, or...
Hikikomori.
Yeah, whatever. Or...
Okay, weeb. I'm calling weeb on that one right there. Weeb.
But if you are anywhere near that and you call yourselves any of those names, you're just a weeaboo, no matter what, because all those names are bad in Japanese culture. They're all bad. They're not respected at all. And really, just in general, if you keep up to date on anything that's outside of America and you like strictly keep it in Japan, you're a weeaboo. And it's like not really a good or a bad thing. It's just who you are. I don't really give a shit. Like,
So you're not...
I'm not defending weeaboos. I mean, I totally think...
You're not defining a weeb at all. You're just saying this whole category is a weeb. So you're... What's the word I'm looking for? Stereotyping?
We can't hear you.
Oh
when
my
you're that
God,
far
Tumblr,
away
shut
from
up.
the microphone.
Stereotype.
It's yeah, okay, fine, yeah, you know what, stereotyping, but you know what, also saying that you're an otaku for this reason, or this reason, or this reason, is stereotyping.
to
That's
me-
exactly what Tito
to
was
me,
saying
the
in his
word
very
otaku-
simple explanation.
To me, the word
Of
otaku,
dogs.
because I believe the official definition of otaku is someone who is a nerd who's kind of closed off, kind of like someone who kind of hides in their house all the time.
You know, in
doesn't
Japan,
really
they
go out
actually see
into
them as just
society.
lowlifes.
Yeah, kind of low lives, okay? We call this Otakuspect because we want otaku to become a word that is not just called that in Japan, but something that in America can be taken on somewhat more of like the word nerd. Otherwise, we would call this nerd spec, the aspect of being a nerd. But in the same way, we want otaku to be more closer synonymously related to nerd because honestly, every one of us here are nerds. Can you deny it? Exactly. Shut the fuck up.
I'm not really
So, okay,
I'm
no,
totally
no, we will talk about you later because
What
you have
he's
watched
trying to-
how much anime
I
you...
think what he's trying to say, and I think what you both are trying to say, is we should not reinforce the negative stereotypes of any degree of any fan and embrace the positive.
Yeah, exactly,
And the
exactly.
fact that we don't all need
I'm
labels.
more of just saying, like,
Exactly.
like there's really not
Tito for
an
president.
area for negativity. It's just more of like where we based our negativity.
Well, the
That's-
problem is
yeah.
here in America, weeb in both in Japan and America, weeb has taken on a negative connotation. A weeaboo is just kind of disgusting, and honestly, in Japan, I think the word weeaboo would be more
Disrespectful.
disrespectful to both their culture, who the weeaboo is from, and Japan's culture or whatever culture they're weeabooizing. And I know that's not a word, but shut the
Filthy
heck
Frank
up.
TV,
Weeabooizing.
go watch it.
Okay, anyway, so what I'm trying to say is, otakus, I'm trying to put that next to nerd, because I can say for 100% certainty, I am a nerd. I have spent more time in the last 2 days watching Supernatural than probably I've watched any other series, like, except Full Metal Alchemist, but that was only, like, one time, okay? And I was having, like, some serious problems back
I
then.
really,
But,
you know, I'm going to talk about my favorite anime real quick, just so we can get out of the way. I really love Scrubs. That
wait,
is
what?
a really good
I
anime.
thought you were going to say Gurren Lagann.
No, Scrubs is way better.
Why have I not heard of this?
I will say,
Everybody got that
went-
joke, right?
Yes.
Don't
Okay,
tell me
yeah, we
cool.
did.
Are you talking about like that Scrubs TV show?
JD.
Yeah, I love
And Turk,
Scrubs.
Yeah, JD, Turk,
Chocolate Bear,
Carla,
Vanilla Bear.
Janitor.
Zach Braff.
Okay, you're gonna have to fill me on.
Have you not?
Later.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
oh
just
my
I know
for-
he
just
was
for reference
kidding.
here.
I know he was kidding, but that show is structured very much like an anime.
It
It
really
is.
is. Oh, I love that show though.
Okay,
So much.
first of all,
King of the Hill is a better anime though. It's always boring in the house.
He'll tell you
It's
why.
been years since I've watched that, and I still call my friend Chocolate Bear.
first of all, yes, Scrubs is an anime. Whether
Welcome to the
people
Five
realize
Nights
it or not.
at Freddy's episode, guys.
Secondly,
We're just gonna call this episode Rant Number 2.
we're fucking with Rune here because he doesn't know reality TV.
Wait, are we talking about the medical show Scrubs?
Yes.
Oh my god.
No, see, just like
I'm
Five
not.
Nights at Freddy's, this is eventually going to tie into the beginning of the conversation.
Okay, so here's the thing. I go to a Votech, which is like a college, but it's more like a half college. And Mike,
Yeah, that's kind of
yeah, we all
where
go to a
we
Votech.
record.
That's where we're recording. We're
I just
recording.
said that, you bitch! Anyways, continue.
Okay, so we're recording in our Votech cafeteria because we don't have any place else to do it.
And this place has great acoustics.
It does have great acoustics. The fuck are you two doing? Okay,
Don't worry about it.
Okay, so
This is where our friendship strides from.
since my car broke down, I've actually been taking the school bus home with the high school kids. And they don't even notice. The driver looks like Santa Claus, okay, and he doesn't even give a shit. And I get on the bus.
Yeah, well,
That's
Jordan
every-
looks like a
that's every
Columbine
single
kid.
school. They're awesome.
Hey, man, got to feed them ho-ho-hos.
Anyway, he's giving all these kids a ride home. He doesn't even notice that I get off with them. That sounds like a very bad joke.
They're just
And-
taking these kids home.
Taking them home, all right.
Oh my god.
What a miss, bitches.
Okay, before I get on the school bus to go with all these insane high school kids, I'm standing next to these two hipsters who have rainbow hipster glasses, fedoras that don't even look like fedoras anymore.
It's called a trilby.
Excuse you while I put my trilby back on Will's.
I will fucking take that hat away from you, Rune. Okay, so I'm standing next to these two, what I'm going to say, assholes, and they're playing Five Nights at Freddy's. Just let me
I wish we had that on video. Trilby throw for the win.
And
Dude, the fucking gayest way too.
they start playing Five Nights at Freddy's, and they're getting stared and shit. They're jilting and jolting. Whatever the fuck you want to say. And they said, "Oh my god, this is a great concept for a game. Where could he have gotten this idea? The
Are you
animatronics
kidding me?
at a children's restaurant." And I'm
Are you
standing
kidding
there
me?
ashamed. And I said, "Look up Chuck E. Cheese on your phone right now, please."
Look up the original
dial it."
Chuck E. Cheese animatronics.
Okay. Because of this, if Five Nights at Freddy's does make a movie, Chuck E. Cheese is going to go bankrupt. Because even parents are going to be like, yeah, I don't feel comfortable. doing
Actually, I would be okay with that because Chuck E. Cheese is so.
Yeah, Chuck E.
weird.
Cheese is like dead now.
Chuck E. Cheese is it's barely even.
Look
used.
at David Buster's main
Gaddy
event.
Town.
Yeah, all these different places.
Without creepy giant mouses. I
Exactly!
They did improve upon it finally. I don't see how they didn't do that before.
We're listing local examples, but you guys can pretty much just fill in with whatever. large
Someone
chain.
Celebration Station
Yeah,
even has
okay.
a better mascot.
Someone, do me a favor. If y'all all want to see this, maybe we'll put a picture up for this podcast to our about. We have this thing here in Oklahoma called Frontier City, and Frontier City is partnered with Whitewater Bay. Whitewater Boy. Okay,
I
so
thought you said
Whitewater
Whitewater
Bay, but
Bay.
Frontier City used to have these animatronics, and one of them was a bear, and these things barely ever did anything. Barely. Okay, these things barely ever did anything. They just kind of stood there, and every great now and then they would have them put on shows, and they were very much worthless. No one even cared. People would just walk past them. But those things were freakier than the Chuck E. Cheese mascots ever were. So look those up. Maybe we'll post a picture here. I'm looking at you, Zork, because you're going to be editing. And it's just, I hated them so much. Like, I'm honestly a fan of everything creepy, but these things were they were supposed to not be creepy. And in the way, they just kind of, they weren't creepy anymore. They just kind of like, they were ugly, they were an eyesore, and at the same time, I thought that they would turn on at the wrong moment. So I was waiting to be
That's just
startled.
like me.
I wasn't scared of them because of what they were. I was just like waiting for them to be like move, and I knew that as soon as they moved or they turned on, and they did a few times because people would turn them on in the stands or whatever, or they would just be scheduled to turn on. It would freak me out just because they would move when I expected them to, and then I'd just be like, oh crap.
real quick.
So they didn't scare me. It was just when
Hold
they
on, wait,
moved,
let me
I knew
stop.
it was coming, and it would startle me.
The way you just talked about that is the exact same way a rape victim would talk about how the rapist you didn't see the rapist.
And guys, if you want to,
I had the fear of being afraid of those things.
if you want to learn a little
feared
bit more
being
about the
afraid of
effect
I
that
feared being
causes
afraid, not
that
them being
with the
afraid.
animatronics, it's a lot of people already know about it. It's the uncanny valley. So if you look that up on Wikipedia, uncanny valley, it's just when something is not human and they try to make it human. There's this level of just uneasiness that comes from
It's true.
seeing
it's true.
it.
Store
So-
mannequins.
Oh, no, I totally get that. Because, like, okay, at Whitewater Bay, there's a ride that was, like, halfway done
right.
and, like, has construction around it.
Yeah.
But it's never been finished or anything. You can only see, the reminiscence of it. And the first time I ever saw it, there was just a lifeless, just sitting there, pair of shoes with whatever.
Life vest.
Yeah, life vest. And, like, it looked like it's been there for, like, years. So it was, like, just eerie thinking about, like, why didn't they finish it? Why is it just incomplete?
Who
Why-
died here?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
pretty much.
Also, why the fuck was it made out of concrete? It's a water slide, but it's made out of concrete.
Oh, we've got concrete water slides in Mexico.
Lake, I believe it was Arcadia, but they have
This is why you're Tito.
they have a little water park up there, and it's only like 4 slides total. But they have concrete water slides, and it's a really nice place. Like we
Welcome
go
to the
there
Five
all
Nights
the
at
time.
Freddy's episode,
And
guys.
they used to be a lot better. Yeah, this was originally supposed to be a Five Nights at Freddy's episode, but we've diversed so far
But
that
then
we're just
again,
gonna make
there
it
isn't
rant
much to talk
episode.
about Five Nights at Freddy's. They shouldn't be making this many games.
Yeah, that's true.
I
Sure.
do know that they released recently the Chica.
Are you kidding me?
The what?
They released Chica's new face. I was looking it up while I was in the
God,
bathroom.
dang it. Looked it
How
up while
fitting
you were in
that
the
you looked in the
what?
bathroom.
I was really, I was looking for fat material, and I was just thinking, yo, since we're talking about Five
Well,
Nights at
look at that.
Freddy's,
Yeah, man, gotta
My
put,
dick in
gotta,
rock
gotta
hard.
make a deposit to the
Runs
spank
out,
bank.
pants down. God, you gotta look at this.
I could see it, sadly. Okay, then.
the Chica doesn't even look that bad,
see.
honestly.
We're gonna.
Because, like,
upload
that's
a
the funny
picture
thing.
for you.
The concept art never looks bad for Five Nights at Freddy's. It's just when the game comes out, then it's like, yeah, it's pretty shit.
We'll put up a picture for you guys, but yeah, the concept art always looks good.
Mm-hmm. Like,
I mean, even the game itself can look decent. It's just like it's a shit game at this point. It's like the first one was good, the second was like, oh hell yeah, and then it's just.
I will say I did get quite a bit of enjoyment out of One Night at Flumpty's.
Oh yes.
That's
love the
probably
animation.
the
I respect the.
that's the
animation
best
of that as well.
clone of Five Nights at Freddy's I've seen because they made it animated and because they changed the mechanic of how the game works. It's still basic, you can't move and you're supposed to protect yourself from the monsters, but the monsters have different behaviors at different
And,
times.
It's actually like I really
Like the
really
clown.
love the animation.
Like the clown. The clown had a timer. And just like the second one had the where you could wind the music box, it was pretty similar, but you could always go back to the timer and you immediately knew when it was going to pop. There's nothing you can do to stop it. You can't wind the clock back
I really
to where
love
he
how it
doesn't
looked
come.
too.
And sometimes the way that game was designed, the way that the patterns of all the enemies worked, sometimes they would all come at once. And
It was
you
very
would,
cleverly made.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
All I know is just that I'm never going back to fucking Chuck E. Cheese.
why would you? You're a fucking grown-ass man.
wait,
I do what I want.
didn't we just have a
Those
field
don't
trip
have
where
with
some
this
where
life.
Yeah, like
some
a
people
handful
went,
of students
a handful
just
of
ran
people
there.
went to
She
yeah.
wasn't there.
Oh. Well, okay.
Na-na, Elmo's World.
And we
They
just
came
got
back
sued.
limping and smelling toddler shit.
They did.
Tickets pulling out of their pockets.
I mean, it's probably the best thing that I wasn't going to Chuck E. Cheese.
King probably got a discount.
You would get thrown out for like raping the kids.
So since we're
Aren't you from
since we're
Tumblr?
ranting
Don't
about the
make jokes
fact
about rape.
since we're
Only
ranting
I'm
about
allowed
the
to
fact
do
that
that.
there's so many games, are there any
We're
aspects of
happy
them that make
Yeah,
you guys
same
mad?
here.
Maybe like the characters
No,
or
it's
the
okay.
settings. One of the things that made
Okay,
me mad
yeah,
about
like-
the third game, and this is just the third game, not even the fourth game, and I know everybody's mad about the fourth one since there are some loose ends to tie up, but the story's pretty much resolved. I was actually mad at the third game for
Okay,
making
no.
it a setting where it was actually a theme park.
Okay, no. My biggest problem with it is not that it's continuing. I mean, I guess you. Yeah, I'm actually more pissed that it's continuing because it could have been high art in a way. We could have looked back at it way later and went, you know what? Even though the third game was bad, in general, the whole thing was actually a pretty good time. But that they're continuing it and leaving no thought to the imagination, and they're literally just telling you everything.
Right. There's nothing wrong with leaving all those loose threads open. I mean, that's what makes, for example, Pulp Fiction. That's what made Pulp Fiction interesting before he revealed what was in the suitcase.
And Eyes Wide Shut. Have
And
you ever
Eyes
seen-
Wide Shut. Yeah.
Yeah. The best thing about Eyes Wide Shut is that it does not tell you what's going on, and it's supposed to be a total implication of most of the messages behind it are based on implications, and the ending literally made no sense because it didn't need to make sense. And so, same thing with Five Nights at Freddy's. The ending didn't make much sense, but it didn't need to be. Now that they're having an ending, it makes it worse.
Okay, I just want to go on record and say that
You're kind of forced to if you're talking.
Shut up. We are looking at this okay, they're making more games and all that stuff, but I want to ask you something. Have you heard of any new games, mobile and otherwise, that have come out within the last week or so, or will come out within a week or whatever, just within a close time frame, that is good enough to replace Five Nights at Freddy's right now? Because right now, if Five Nights at Freddy's, they just canceled this next game, what do we have? We have pretty much nothing that has come out.
We could have had that would have replaced it really nicely.
Silent Hills.
Yeah.
Silent Hill.
Silent Hills.
Did I get just a little gift of your
Hey,
face
but
right there?
guys,
That's exactly
according to Guillermo del Toro's Twitter, which we'll provide a link here in a second, according to Guillermo del Toro's Twitter, he is still open to working with Kojima. Now, in my dream world, when Kojima leaves Konami and hopefully he forms his own development studio, I hope he gives him a call and says, "Hey, let's create."
Kojima Productions is completely
Actually,
inside.
Kojima, there's a little bit of fogginess as to whether Konami or Kojima own Kojima Productions.
What the fuck?
Because I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on this. This is just hearsay. You guys can verify later. I'm pretty sure the Fox engine's owned by Konami.
What the fuck? No, he sued because they were trying to use it. That's the whole reason Silent Hills got messed up. Because they were they still wanted to use the Fox engine, and he was like, "No, you can't use it." That's the whole. So yeah, no.
Okay, but yeah, in my perfect world, once Kojima makes a development studio, I hope he really does call Guillermo del Toro up, because even if it's not Silent Hills, guys, keep in mind that we didn't even know PT was Silent Hills until somebody leaked the ending of the game. That shows the potential that those two have to make an original IP that doesn't have to depend on Silent Hills. That would be completely terrifying.
Also, not only that, but let me just say, but while you were talking about Del Toro still working with Kojima, it was literally in a tweet saying, "I suck dick. I suck his dick. I suck that Kojima cock. I've been dick riding that thing for years." And we were all just like,
pretty much. I mean, Kojima and Guillermo del Toro and Kojima have been going pretty back and forth as far as admiring each other's work. It's only a matter of time until they do create something.
yeah, and honestly, I really just hope it doesn't have an AI effect, how Kubrick was trying, Kubrick and Spielberg always wanted to work together.
Oh,
and then
yeah,
finally, when they did, Kubrick dies, and then they come out with a shit product. I mean, I respect AI.
With all honesty, it's probably, if one of them dies, it's going to be Del Toro, because Kojima's way over 50, and the dude looks like our age.
I know, dude. He looks like he'll just come up to any girl our age, and he'll just be like, "Did you like it?" And pants are wet.
No, pants are not wet. Pants are off.
Pants are off. Panties are off. The ground below them is soaked.
God.
Hey man, maybe you should look
We're
at
not gonna
not
go
drinking
into
so
further
much water.
Did you like it?
So,
This is on
since
the
we,
level.
Since
level
we
of
discussed
Hey
the
Pretty
stuff
Mama,
that makes us
let me
mad
in your ear.
about the series continuing, if at what point would you guys do something differently, and what would you do differently?
Okay, specifically, what would I do differently?
Yeah.
I would have ended it completely at the second one, because
Yeah, I agree.
at that point he knew, like it tells a story. It tells a really good story at that. That it's actually kind of eerie because you don't know all the specifics. And I really don't like saying that. I wish I could give criticisms of like how to make it better. Like if I got to work on the third one, I would mostly say that one, if they made it just a little bit more jarring like they did the first one, I think the third one kind of gives you too much implication. You see too much of the animatronics. In the first one, you barely see them. And that's what was so terrifying, because with the second you saw them, you were like, oh, fuck, I might die.
I agree. That's what made Foxy so scary from the get-go, because all of the other animatronics were just they were stationary. For the most part, none of them moved except for when their heads glitched or when their bodies glitched. But I could tell you the first time that I saw Foxy running down the hall, I had to go change my pants.
Well, like, okay, no, I found out about Five Nights at Freddy's because of a GIF, because it was a King of the Hill.
Oh, you're
GIF.
lucky. I was on 4chan. I saw the Rule 34 of it before I knew about the game.
Okay, I saw this one GIF image of the security guard laying across the couch in the security station. Foxy comes in and is about to, like, scream, and then he looks at the guard and he just closes his mouth, flips the eye patch up. The security guard is lying pretty much naked except with a rose covering his genitals on the couch, and Foxy just looks up for a second, reaches in, hits the red button, and then pulls his arm out in time for the door to shut down, and he just leaves. And I saw that, and I was just like, oh my god, this is the best gift for FNAF ever. But honestly, yeah, I agree they should have ended it at the second one, because if they had ended it like at the second one, and they had put that the whole restaurant is being torn down, closed down, and all that stuff, and they put like in one extra little death mini game of how it originally went down or what we needed to know, just compress it into like one small game, then we wouldn't have even really needed a Five Nights at Freddy's 3, and 4 would be not even an idea, let alone a game coming out. So
I would have respected it if you went on and just made like a different type of game, made an entirely different game, like not involving Five Nights at Freddy's at all.
yeah, and
just-
honestly,
Instead of those Christian games. Also, yeah.
Yeah, just
And
don't
maybe-
go back to Christian James. Don't do that.
yeah, and
All
so-
your fans go like, "What the fuck?"
Well,
And then
what
you're,
if
like,
he'd
all
made a
excited for it.
completely separate game, but inside the game you could find little things like the posters on the walls or whatever, and they would change every like right now and then or something to tell the final story of what happened at the end to the Five Nights at Freddy's restaurant, of it being shut down and all that stuff, or like what had happened. Like put it on a bulletin board somewhere. Like say that one of the manager of whatever this new place is, or the boss or the owner or something, really liked Freddy's Fazbear's Pizzeria or whatever, and decided to post those up when it got shut down or something. Just make a new game, but make a little cameo appearance. That would have brought him some fame. That would have got him a new game. Hopefully this game would have actually been good. And the fact that it would have just let us know what happened to the storyline, that would be perfectly fine. He would not get any angry or harsh resentment whatsoever from me, at least, at all whatsoever, as long as the game was decent, okay?
I'm so glad we have an editor.
Yeah. Like, since we're talking about things we would change about I really liked that you could like click on the nose and then it makes a noise.
Yeah.
But if I could change anything about it, I would just change the noise to.
Okay,
There's-
I
I'm
would
sure
actually
there's a
like
mod.
that. Yes.
There's a mod for everything.
Yes.
And guys, if there's not one, please make it.
Yes,
Yeah.
this needs to happen. Make it, email us, or if there isn't one, but yeah, whatever. Honestly, the one thing that this really pissed me off, just talking about the Soul Buzz thing, you inserted the phone numbers into the wall!
Yeah, that was weird. Also, another last thing that I need to talk about is this is a little bit more off topic and more of hating on the fans.
Oh, please. It's not like the entire conversation.
No,
It's
it's not-
mostly
yeah,
off topic.
Anyways, no. You can really genuinely figure out if something's good or bad knowing its fan base. Most of the Five Nights at Freddy's fan base are either weebs, like hardcore weebs, or little children. Have you noticed that?
Actually, I
No,
have
go
noticed
on
that.
Vine right now, type in hashtag Five Nights at Freddy's or the FNA whatever, blah, blah, blah.
FNAF.
Yeah.
If I can cut in
Type
for
that
just
in.
a second, it's because the YouTubers that play them, their audiences are mostly that. That's why their fans
Yeah,
are
that
True.
actually is.
Like, for
That's-
example, Markiplier. Markiplier has a very, very big, young
Yeah.
fan base. So when he became, I'd probably say he was probably the most famous Let's Player for Five Nights at Freddy.
Well, I'm just going to go on record
He,
here.
he, a lot of little kids saw it, and
Yeah.
a lot of little kids became fans. So that's why you saw that.
Well,
You
yeah,
know-
but at the same time, there's personally, as the only one who's still in high school in this podcast right now.
I don't know if that's bragging.
Vintage, you're not in high school, are you?
Well, I graduated.
Sorta.
I graduated
Vintage, if you
last
can't,
Sunday.
vintage, if you can't answer,
Cool.
if you're in high school, maybe you should still be there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just like, kind of.
Okay, well, so I'm still in high school. Next year's my senior year and all that stuff. I guess I'm probably the youngest member or whatever. But here's the thing, okay?
I'm an ISIS member.
Just okay then. Let's not talk about that. Anyway,
Oh,
so
come on!
Well, we all just got put on a
I'm
list.
talking, yeah. I'm talking about this and all that stuff because when Five Nights at Freddy's first came out, I literally saw my high school friends say, "Hey, check out this game." So it originally started going around because of high school and middle school, well, mainly high school. But the little kids started getting it when high schoolers started saying, "Oh, hey, this is popular," and then big YouTubers started making Let's Plays of it and stuff. So originally, the original fan base was mainly high
Markiplier
school
actually did come out with
kids.
it when like the demo was only up.
But that's
Okay,
because
fair
him,
enough.
him,
I'll
and,
say-
him and Scott are
has a lot of those
pretty
where, like,
close
I really
now.
respect him. I
Are
found
they
him when
really?
I was
Yeah,
a-
because of the
I
Let's
had
Plays,
to
because of
subscribe to him.
Yeah,
because
but
Mark has such a
no,
huge fan
like I
base.
mean, like when the
Because
first
of
Five Nights at Freddy's demo
Because
came
I thought he
out.
was a
Oh,
creator.
okay, yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
he was the first one to like ever do a video about it. And honestly, I did watch his videos a lot, mostly because of like just seeing how like creepy the animatronics look. I would just watch his videos because I didn't want to pay for it. I mean, I eventually did, and then I kept every time when the Five Nights at Freddy games came out, I'd buy the fucking first day.
Okay. The one thing that
Loser.
I would change.
I wanted
about-
to see if it got better. I had
didn't.
hope for it.
It didn't.
Okay, no, the second time I was like completely hopeful, and then the third time I was skeptical. Now I don't even think I'm gonna buy
He
the.
was waiting, dick in hand,
I'm just gonna
tear
watch
running
the
down
fourth
cheek.
one. Okay, I will
Only one
say
tier?
that I actually
That's
did
level
buy
two.
the first one, and
Goddamn
then
it, you
I
know what I
deleted
mean.
it because it wasn't good. Well, it was good, but I just didn't really care for the playing itself.
The one thing that I would change about Five Nights at Freddy's is the name. Why can't it just be like One Night at Freddy's? Because
Because that's why you go to Flumpty's.
Because repetition is the basis of every joke.
Why can't they just name it Freddy Fazbear
Because
Pizza?
repetition is the basis of every joke.
I'm just
Because
saying, like,
repetition is the basis of every
It
joke.
was only
Or no,
funny when I said
just
it.
name
Yeah,
it
you just
Fazbear's
killed
Pizza.
it. No, you gotta keep doing it. And
Or
interrupt
fuck it, just name it
Wilson,
Pizza.
though. You just have to interrupt Wilson
The
every single time.
The name of the game is Pizza.
okay. The one thing
The
that
repetition is the basis of every joke. Shoots.
But seriously, though, what does it have to be 5 nights? I mean, can't you just pick an option of whether you want to play it again? If they had made a smaller version that sold for less, wouldn't have more people bought it? Would you stop fucking doing that?
You know why Five
Technically,
Nights?
that is repetition.
Why?
Bills. That's why.
Man, I feel
You
like
gotta pay them
money.
bills.
Man, I feel like money. Attracted to me. Come around like honey. Come around like honey. Some fly like a bee. Man, I got 'em all buzzing, 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 buzzing. Do, 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 do.
I'm just gonna buy Nova a taser and see what happens.
No. Actually do it. I
3
feel like he
minutes
would get
into the
tased before me and I would
I
run
could just
while
bring
that's
mine.
happening.
Oh, there we go.
The second I get
10
tased, I'll
minutes
just
into
be
the
like,
episode,
oh
you just say,
no.
God damn.
God, I hate it. You just put a little shit stain on my day.
So are we done here? Are we done here?
Yeah, we're pretty much done. I mean, it's 40 minutes in.
Yeah, it's 43 minutes and we only have like one edit.
How long are
All
these
right, so
typically?
thank y'all for listening to this rant.
We
Yes,
still haven't made
it
our
is
points
extremely
about, like, certain
long.
things.
And we're not going to make a point. This rant is over. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, we love y'all. Thank you very much. Peace.